everyone. I am delighted that I know every single one of you, and thank you for coming this morning. We are super excited to have Lexie Markarian from Street Level Studio and her partner in crime, Tanya Fredheim from Street Level Studio, and I will turn this over to Lexie, who will introduce herself in more detail and Street Level Studio. So Lexie, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Do I get the screen sharing rights?
Yep, you do.
That's what I do. Thank you very much. And I shall do that. Okay, super. Now everybody should see my screen, and I'm going to roll them, so to speak. Thank you, Jenny and Michael. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lexie Markarian, as Jenny said, Director of New Business Development at Street Level Studio. Thank you for joining me this morning for an overview of marketing beyond COVID-19. But before we begin, I'd like to make a brief introduction. Street Level Studio is an integrated omni-channel marketing agency located in Highwood. We are a creative team of marketers who love all things marketing. We work in everything from strategy to design to technology. I started my career in marketing over 23 years ago. I first started in incentive marketing with the byproduct being premium group travel. My client industry focus was food service, grocery, both wholesale and retail, convenience, Jansan, paper, and real estate. I'm pleased to be working with Street Level Studio in business development. Today we will be discussing brand marketing communications. We will start from the basics with an overview of marketing communications, where to start, and 3 examples of brand marketing communications. The impetus of this presentation is to provide you with a high-level understanding of brand marketing communications so you may evaluate what's right for you. The Buddha once asked a student, quote, "If a person is struck by an arrow, is it painful? If the person is struck by a second arrow, is it even more painful?" End quote. He then went on to explain, quote, "In life, we cannot always control the first arrow. However, the second arrow is our reaction to the first. And with this second arrow comes the possibility of choice." End quote. We've been struck by the first arrow, COVID-19. And as this pandemic evolves, we are continually being hit by arrows. Now is our time to make a choice. What will our business look like going forward, and how will we communicate it? According to the McKinsey survey, U.S. consumer sentiment during the coronavirus, there are 3 consumer behavior changes we need to be considering. Consumers who have switched to new brands or retailers largely intend to stick with them, with almost 2/3 of consumers indicating an intent to continue. Consumers also intend to reduce in-person activities such as travel, attending movies, concerts, and events. Consumers also exhibit a strong intent to continue digital activity replacements such as telemedicine and remote learning, digital pastimes such as online streaming and fitness, and physical activities like spending time outdoors and digitally enabled exercise machines. In contrast, activities that are specific to the COVID-19 crisis, such as workarounds and largely in-person activities, including professional video conferencing and curbside pickup, are less likely to stick around. Takeaway number 1, we are establishing habits for the future. It's important to be a part of that dynamic shift. A closer look at the shopping data illustrates this shift. Comparing the first half of March, before stay-at-home orders were issued in the US, to the first half of April, many of the items showing the largest growth in dollars spent beyond the essentials. Despite being a fraction of the overall share of spend, there was a whopping 777% increase in book purchases. I don't know why that always makes me laugh, but it does. Followed by 182% growth in toys and games category, and 131% growth among sports and outdoor items, which includes gym equipment, home improvement at 71%, health and beauty products at 38%, follow close behind. So, takeaway number 2, make sure you understand who your target audience is and how to communicate with them. Of course, the underlying thought is it may not be the same as what it was formerly. As it relates to brand and content strategy, the data shows that marketing experts are primarily making moderate tweaks to their focus and messaging. This group represents 45% of those surveyed. The second largest group of marketing experts at 31% say COVID-19 is making a strong impact on their brand and content strategy. They realize that they must pivot in order to appeal to and maintain their audience. And the third largest group at 18% notes an extreme impact, forcing them to drastically change the way they do business. In total, that is 94% of surveyed marketing experts that feel that COVID-19 has made a moderate to extreme impact on their brand and content strategy, making them either tweak, pivot, or drastically change what they're doing. You may be viewing this chart and immediately realize where you fall, and that's good. This sort of evaluation needs to happen. If you're not pausing and making a critical evaluation to your brand and content strategy, you could be failing your business and missing opportunities. Takeaway number 3, reevaluate your brand and content strategy and make sure it's relevant to the current economic climate. A majority of these same marketing experts are focusing their marketing communications on developing messaging, content, and campaigns for a marketing pivot and current COVID-19 response campaign. It is important to realize that marketing communication as business as usual can be perceived as tone deaf and missing the pulse and sentiment of your audience. Equally as important is not communicating at all. I have seen repeated examples of businesses who regularly communicate prior to the pandemic and then immediately stopped at the beginning of March. No communication does not necessarily mean that you're simply not communicating now. No communication can lead your public to misperceptions. They can become suspect and critical and draw incorrect assumptions without proper communications through difficult times. Heaven knows, I have a wild imagination. You can't imagine the things that I've thought. Takeaway number 4, people want to hear from you and now. Do not think that they do not, and make sure that you're true to your brand and that your content is considerate of public sentiment. Okay, where to start? So these are pretty compelling statistics. I'm sure you all want to start rethinking your brand communications now, but it's not that easy. We need to pause, reflect, and take the opportunity to evaluate where to start. Okay, so this is like the castor oil when you're sick part of the presentation. Nobody wants to do it, but you have to take it in order to get better. And that is a business plan. As with anything, it's essential to start from the beginning. And starting from the beginning in business means starting with a business plan. A business plan will really provide you with the opportunity to evaluate not only where your business has been, what it is today, but also where you'd like it to be in the future. A business plan also provides you with the opportunity to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. This can be done in the form of a SWOT analysis, where you outline your strengths and weaknesses but also your opportunities and threats. It's all about being strategic, introspective, and critical. Think outside of the box. Go where it's comfortable and uncomfortable, and land somewhere in the middle. Understand who your ideal customer is. Is there more than one? Is that customer different now? Develop an ideal customer persona and really get to know who that person is. With this understanding, you can begin to frame up how to communicate. With a developed and refined business plan and an understanding of your ideal customer, the next step is to evaluate whether or not your brand identity strategy is relevant. And if you do not have a brand strategy, now is a great time to put pen to paper and develop one. The importance of a strong brand identity strategy is that it can help build your reputation, make you stand out from your competition, and project your values to attract your ideal customer. These are all important factors, especially now. Also, a strong brand identity strategy can positively influence purchasing decisions. We will see an example of this in our presentation when we discuss drops. I'm excited for that part. Okay. Oops, one too many. Back here. I have to tame this presentation. It gets a little wild at times. All righty. When we talk about brand identity strategy, many of you may be thinking of visual brand identity. What may come to mind is the Nike swoosh, the John Deere leaping deer, the F for Facebook, and the golden arches of McDonald's. Well, you get it. But brand identity strategy is much more than its visual identity or logo. It includes other elements of the brand, such as your mission statement, which summarizes your goals and values as a company. Your vision statement, which defines your vision, where you aspire to be upon achieving your mission. And your core values, which are the traits your business considers the highest priority. Also, in developing a strong brand identity, you want to understand your competition. Have aspirational brands, people you'd like to be like. Audit how your brand is being used and consider a tagline. As you can see in the example on the bottom right of this slide, Airbnb recently underwent a brand identity change, and they did so ever so simply. They identified what is most important to them: people, places, and love. These combined with Airbnb equal their new visual identity. Pretty simple, yet pretty clever and timely. As you develop your business plan and brand identity strategy, you should be able to begin to hear the voice of your business come through. Understand how to communicate with your ideal customer. Be sure to be authentic. Stay true to who you are as a company and what your brand stands for. Honest, transparency goes a long way. Engaged. Make sure your communications are precisely targeted and personalized as possible. Braver. It may be time to break out of your comfort zone. Collaborative. Solicit input and ideas from within your own enterprise and be ready to ask for help. Brand communications influences the stakeholders of your company. Stakeholders come in many forms and can be described as not only your customers, but also your employees, your investors, and even sponsors, depending on what type of organization you are. Do not forget that you are not only communicating with customers, but also with other audiences or stakeholders, and they can be just as important as your customer. It is important to communicate with all stakeholders on a regular basis about the happenings and important matters that relate to the brand. Brand communications work as the voice of the brand that strengthens the relationship with all of the stakeholders on a long-term basis. Brand communications, when successful, can create an impact make you an authority, and differentiate your business, amongst other things. Good brand communications will always have an excellent impact on the customers and will make the customers feel more connected to the brand. An example of this is in any social campaign that you see in the market, which, if executed properly, makes a huge impact on the customers. Think of GoDaddy. Now, I'm going to show you this link, and hopefully we won't have a technical fail. And if we do, apologies in advance. Oh, look at this.
Open. Remember having that feeling for the first time? The first day you opened. The first day you had a customer. The first day you taught a class. Had a client. A patient, a session. Open. Remember the night before you opened. Who could ever sleep? Open. But there's a different question you're being asked now. Are you going to remain open even when your doors are closed? Open. That's how we show who we are. And there's another way to be open, to pull together or push, depending on the door. And we are making it work. And we will continue to make it work together, because open we stand.
Pretty impactful, isn't it? Ooh, go away. Okay. So, moving on to authority. Bosch and Siemens are two brands which we respect because we always talk about their superior engineering. The products are superior and much better than many of the competition. However, if the brand does not communicate these values, then it will not make the brand an authority on the subject. Monster.com is an authority when it comes to job seekers. Rolex is an authority when it comes to watchmaking. This authority has been built not only on the product design, but also brand communications. So essentially, we need to brag about ourselves. A brand which connects with customers differentiates itself from the competition. This is a huge competitive advantage to the brand because when brand comparisons are made, the loyalty and following that a brand has differentiates the brand from its competitors. There are many brands of smartphones or vacuum cleaners or even televisions, but people will always go for the Dyson and vacuum cleaners or an Apple for smartphones. These are brands that have differentiated themselves through their market offerings, and also through brand communications. Of course, through making an impact, being an authority, and creating differentiation, brand communication also builds loyalty in the minds of the consumers. If a customer has a positive experience with the brand, then repeated brand communications to the customer will make the customer a brand advocate. This single customer can bring other customers to the brand via word of mouth. For this repeat exposure to the customer, brand communications is required. And finally, a brand which communicates with its customers slowly and steadily builds a positive market for itself. Now, to the meat of our discussion today. The three examples of brand marketing communications within the digital marketing framework. They are email, video, social media. We will review these three with examples in the subsequent portion of the presentation. So, email. According to HubSpot, 40% of B2B marketers say email newsletters are most critical to their content marketing success. And 73% of millennials prefer communications from businesses to come via email. That's pretty interesting and important to know. Video. Brands need a video marketing strategy. This isn't a new idea. What has changed is how important video has become on every platform and channel. It's central to your outreach and campaign efforts, especially your social strategy. And social media. Social media marketing helps to validate your brand. A company's social media presence, when done correctly, tells consumers that their brand is active and focused on thriving with communications with customers. Okay. David Newman is a certified speaking professional and a member of the NSA $1 Million Speaker Group. David is the author of business bestseller, quote, Do It Marketing and, quote, Do It Speaking. It is his opinion that email has an ability many channels don't, creating valuable personal touches at scale. And we couldn't agree more. Attributes of email marketing are it enables personalized content. You can collect feedback and surveys. With branded template, you can communicate consistently with your audience. It generates traffic to your site. You can send timely campaigns. It increases leads. You can reach the right people at the right time. Also, email is cost effective. You can offer content with value, thereby making you an authority, as we previously discussed. It is a form for self-promotion, again, a topic we've just discussed. And you own your media and contact list. So it is yours once you amass it. Okay, I'm going to show you an example here. Maybe, if I can find my cursor. Nope. I'm gonna have to. There we are. It was hiding. Okay, so we have an example here from the Street Level Studio portfolio of examples of services. And this example is Street Level Studio's work with Medline. Medline invited its sales force to sign up for concentrated training sessions during its annual sales conference to experience and learn new products in therapy and rehab market. We designed and built a custom email and event invitation via Eventbrite. So an example here of strong email communication. Okay, and back we go to the presentation. Video is another excellent example of brand marketing communications. And I'm really excited to show you this example. Some of the attributes, as you can see here, are it is a great addition to your marketing communication campaigns. It boosts conversion rates. And of course, search engines love video, thus building your SEO. Video builds trust and credibility. It also increases brand loyalty and encourages social shares. Video content can be used across multiple platforms, from your website to social media. You can provide an abundance of information in a very compelling way. Again, part of the topic that we already discussed. Today, more customers are watching video, with Facebook reporting a 70% increase in viewers. I mean, that's nuts. I'm probably 65% of that 70% increase. Also, using video shows you keep with the times. Video also drives consumers to buy. And if you have the appetite for it, live video is increasingly popular. Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops, sells laundry detergent. And you've probably seen this already. It's a real hoot. But anyhow, he has differentiated his product through his brand identity strategy, as stated here, quote, while hard to pull off, sustainability, convenience, and cost are not mutually exclusive. It is our goal to design products that allow us to offer better alternatives, both from a formulation and packaging standpoint. Now, let's see how the company uses video to accomplish communicating this message. And if you have the opportunity to read viewer comments, they almost exclusively love this video and will buy drops as a result of this video alone. Okay. Oh. Hang on.
This is your average detergent pot. It has 20 plus.
You got to hear it from the beginning. I won't deprive you.
Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big, all right. Messy dinosaur. This is your average detergent pot. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath. Doing laundry with drops is hard to out. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop drops at your door. The naked truth is that drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to drops.com. The first one's on us.
So, pretty, thanks, Ginny. You like it as much as I do, too. And for all of us cat lovers, the cat was not harmed in the filming of this video. And he has a couple of other clever ones up there, too, the CEO. And if you noticed, it was from Facebook, which is a nice segue to our next slide. When we talk about social media. So an interesting point, we've been talking a lot about customers, and I did introduce the concept of stakeholders and communicating to them, and that the stakeholder is beyond simply the customer, and that it also includes the employee, anybody who's investing in the business, sponsors, etc. So there's a whole audience that is included in stakeholders. And in this example, we're going to talk about a different audience, not your customer per se, but employees, or in this case, potential employees, which is, as we've come to understand, equally as important. So this portion here on social media is from Domino's, and it's Domino's is hiring. And we'll take a look at how they use social media to their advantage in a strong and successful way, especially during COVID-19. Before we do so, it's important to note the following regarding social media. It can increase your brand recognition. You can effectively open your business to a wider variety of versatile consumers all over the world. With increased visibility, your business gains more opportunities for conversion. You can maintain contact with your recent and past customers in a non-invasive way, of course, through chats. Social media helps to generate leads and provide insights by engaging in these chats. When consumers see your company posting on social media, it makes you appear more credible. And of course, at this time in particular, it allows you to express, well, you're in business. I mean, just think of the GoDaddy video that we saw in the beginning. Post insightful and well-written content on your social media. This is a great way to become an expert and a leader in your field. Again, speaking to authority, as we already discussed. And now let's see how Domino's uses Zoom, just like we are this morning, on YouTube to say we're hiring.
Hi, I'm Lolly, a Domino's franchisee.
As you can see, we're open and working hard to safely keep putting food on people's tables.
And we could use your help doing that.
If getting some full or part-time work during these tough times could help you,
Domino's is hiring.
Head to jobs.domino's.com
And apply today. Because we're not only committed to putting food on people's tables, we're committed to helping you put food on your table.
Okay, now all filmed on Zoom. Isn't that pretty phenomenal? So, in summation, a strong brand identity and brand marketing communication strategy increases your reach. Marketing communication plays an integral role in sharing your brand message to a larger audience. It goes a long way in creating brand awareness among customers and other stakeholders and maintaining long-term customer relationships or stakeholder relationships. It is also cost-effective, giving you measurable results. The timing is right. People are looking for content and you can provide it to them. So again, I wanted to thank you this morning. If you have any questions, please submit them to the chat box and we'll do our best to answer them for you. And if you're interested in learning more or discussing branding or marketing communications for your business, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can see my email and numbers there on this last slide, conveniently placed. Or Ginny and Michael would be more than pleased to connect you with me or Tanya. We at Street Level Studio would be more than pleased to work with you. And that is my presentation for this morning.
Thank you so much, Lexie. That was very valuable. I'm going to be going back over these slides myself for a lot of takeaways. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? You can either submit them via the chat or chime in here. We don't have that big of a group. I see a chat coming in. Doreen asks if they can get copies of these slides.
Yes, I would think so. Yes, Tanya? Yes? Yes. Tanya says yes. Yes.
Then it's a yes. I'll definitely send them
Unanimous
out.
yes.
Plus, I think you're recording the webinar, so it's.
Yep. Yeah, it will all be posted on our website shortly this afternoon, and I can
even more perfect. I can make some other people I know watch this.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
You just want to hear my New York accent coming out every now and again. Oh boy.
Yes.
I'm a New Yorker. Every now and then it just sneaks right out.
We got a question from Jen Luby from Day House. She asked, if you do IG/Facebook stories, how often do you need, or how often do you recommend posting to stay sticky? Do you need to do stories every day?
I think it really depends on your brand. It depends on the brand. It depends on how much you're posting on social. But you know, if you do a story every day, you are staying in front of your audience. So it's not a bad thought.
Especially right now, when we look at that initial report from McKinsey, where they evaluated that people are making changes that that the McKinsey report anticipates people are going to be sticking with post COVID-19, you do want to be in the forefront and making sure. And as they say, one of the things I learned in business school is that you have to say it again, and then say it again, because most people don't get it the first or second time. So it may seem repeated to you, but to the audience, the fourth or fifth time may be the first time they're actually hearing it.
Bruce Erickson asks, great info. How much do you play up the safety aspect of a safe opening?
You want me to go ahead, Tanya?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, as a business owner myself, of course, I'm paying really close attention to that. And I think that if you're a shopper going into a retailer, I would think that you would want to play that up so that you make sure that your shoppers know that it's safe to enter your facility and that you're taking it seriously. By the same token, in my case, I want my employees to know that I'm taking it seriously, that Street Level is taking it seriously, that it's safe to come back to work. And so I think, I think that it's valid. It's a completely valid point to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely, Tanya. When you look at the statistics of the shift in marketing communications, and how most marketing executives are shifting to the COVID-19 response, as well as how their brand is pivoting during COVID-19. And when you consider that those are the two essential communication points, absolutely talking about the phase 3 safety and how you're going to be executing upon it, I think is paramount. I have heard from a lot of business owners that have the expectation that when phase 3 comes in, they won't be able to keep up with the business that's going to be coming through the door based on pent-up demand. I believe that that is a little bit naive. I think many people will still be trepidatious. They'll want others to go first, and then if they deem that safe by a first, you know, it's the old medieval days, you drink my wine, and if you don't die, then I'll drink it. So they'll want other people to do it, and then they'll follow. So the more that you can express the safety and concern in your policies, the better equipped people are going to be mentally about being able to engage.
I absolutely agree. I think that there will be, as they say, there's Simon Sinek talked about this in his presentation on Start With Why. I believe it's called the Law of Diffusion of Innovation or some obscure name, but it's basically says that there are going to be early adopters, you know, people who will be eager to do something first. Now, whether that's because of their pent-up demand or whatever, and then there are going to be, you know, in essence, the later adopters. You go first. I will see who does it first. I think consumer confidence is going to be a huge issue. The McKinsey report was hugely valuable on that, and I believe we shared that, or we have it shared on our resource page. We can check that, Michael. If we don't, we should. But also, there is, next week, we're going to be talking about this whole idea. At First Wednesday, the conversation will be around building consumer confidence. What are businesses doing? What are our businesses doing to help their consumers feel more confident in coming back? And that's going to be a process. It's not going to be a, I open my door and whammo, everybody's going to show up.
We have another question from Doreen. She asks, do you have a way to work with businesses to create a branded template for email communication with clients? A way to get us started and establish a recommended system schedule of touch points?
Yes, 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 yes. And yes.
I would assume so.
That was a little unclear, Lexie.
Let me spell it out, Jania. It's a Y-E-S.
So Doreen should get a hold of you after this, correct?
Yes, Doreen knows us like the back of her hand. How well do you know the back of your hand, Doreen? Maybe the
Give
front
me
of
the
your
good
hand.
deals then.
And
I bet-
Tanya getting up and leaving is no reflection on your question.
Right, right. I've been tasked with blogging by my business partners, and I finally called uncle to the idea. I was like, guys, I cannot blog. You're crazy. But the idea of pointing my energy at communicating with my existing client base and reestablishing some system for even in regular communication, I think would benefit in this time, especially.
Yeah.
Just to, as we reopen and pivot, to let our clients know how we're pivoting.
Absolutely. And you said existing, and I would imagine that you would include previous clients as well.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Okay.
Especially previous clients.
Yeah, they're your best referral sources.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to Lexie and Tanya, who's gone at the moment. But
her dog recently had some major surgery, so I wouldn't be surprised if she ran to attend to that.
Yeah.
So I will say on both of our behalf, and an apology that she had to step away, but I'm sure it's her dog. And two, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. It's our sincere pleasure. I hope we were of some modest assistance to you, and at minimum provided you an opportunity to evaluate what you're currently or not currently doing and how you would like to modify or not modify that. Some of you might be right on the money. And of course, we're here to help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and Tanya so much. We really appreciate
Well
this
done.
presentation. Exceptionally well done. Thank you. We'll be sharing the slides. We will also be posting the recording to the resource page on the Chamber website, so you can watch it again and again and be inspired and get to work.
Great.
Thank you.
One again works. You don't have to
One
watch
again.
it again. Just
There you
just
go.
look again.
There you go. Hopefully we'll see you all next week at First Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thanks,
day,
Jenna.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.